Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guide 365, and today I'm going to give you my top 10 best 4K Ultra HD catalog releases of 2021. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guide 365. Okay, in this video, I will be giving you my top 10 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays of catalog titles from 2021. Now, last year when I was doing my best of 4K list, I included some catalog with some newer releases, and I felt ultimately it was a little unfair to put them in the same list. So I'm going to do two separate videos, one focusing on catalog, which is this one, and in a couple days, look for the best of 2021 of newer releases on 4K. Over the last several years, I really feel that studios put out some of their best content with catalog titles on 4K Ultra HD. I feel they really benefit from the 4K scans, restorations, gradings with HDR, Dolby Vision, and not just the mainstream studios, but a lot of the boutique labels put extra bit of care into their releases, and a lot of these titles on this list come from those particular labels. I'm very happy with the catalog releases of 2021. There were so many great titles. They ultimately really deserve their own list. That is the purpose of this video going in. Now, as with every top 10 list, of course, this is going to be mine. Yours will be very different, but I encourage you to put in the comments section below what you would put on your top 2021 catalog 4K list. And also, this is not about the movie itself, the quality of the film. This is really going to focus mostly on picture quality. While there are some great audio upgrades in here, I do want to keep things a little bit more even, so a movie from, let's say, the 30s, 40s, 50s could have some equal footing with something that's a little bit newer. I am very excited to go over this list, so let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. At number 10, that will go to Stephen King's Misery, released by Kino Lorber. Admittedly, Kino's had a bit of a rough go with their recent 4K releases, but I do feel that they knocked Misery right out of the park. The movie has a great cinematic feel on 4K. Grain structure is perfectly intact, it looks very cinematic, and the HDR Dolby Vision grading really brings out the colors, black levels, and the overall amount of detail is nicely enhanced. The movie, in my opinion, has never looked better. It's definitely an improvement over the standard Blu Ray and worthwhile putting in your collection. At number 9, that will go to the Brian De Palma classic, Carlito's Way. Universal's release of this on 4K Ultra HD is a welcome addition. The movie really benefits here with HDR. The black levels are nearly perfect, and the noir 70s style look really brings out the colors in a very natural way, and it gives it a nice deep richness. Added textures and detail really stand out on this release, and in my opinion, this classic film on 4K Ultra HD really shines, and hopefully you have this one in your collection. At number 8, that will go to Batman v Superman Remastered. When Zack Snyder was getting ready to release his version of Justice League on HBO Max, he went back and did a few alterations to Batman v Superman. There were some aspect ratio shifts included in this release, as well as some color timing changes. The movie does look really good now on this new edition, and if this were a list based purely off of picture and audio, would probably be number 1. But that being said, Batman v Superman, being a 2021 release, looks very good, and it's a worthy addition on 4K Ultra HD. At number 7, that will go to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, released by Warner Brothers. This movie was on a lot of people's most wanted list for a 4K Ultra HD upgrade, and it definitely doesn't disappoint. This movie looks fantastic with HDR. The colors of Wonka's Chocolate Factory really give you a nice visual boost. Black levels are pretty good, and when it comes to the enhancement in detail and textures, those are a nice visual upgrade. This movie looks fantastic. It's a good upgrade over the standard Blu Ray, no doubt about it, and for fans of the film, you're definitely satisfied with the results. For number 6, that will go to Dead and Buried, released by Blue Underground. I was honestly surprised with how much of a visual improvement the 4K with Dolby Vision did for this particular movie. The opening sequence alone really shows off a nice lushness of color, and even the dreary segments sprinkled throughout the film really benefit here with HDR Dolby Vision. Black levels look really appropriate, and grain structure is nicely intact with no issues of DNR. This movie is such a nice, worthwhile upgrade on 4K Ultra HD, and you should definitely see this one for yourself on the format. And number 5, that will go to Arrow Video's release of Django. This spaghetti western, I feel, is one of the best 4K releases from Arrow Video's label. This movie looks fantastic. It's gritty, dirty, but there's a nice boost of color, especially with the red scars from the gang members. And just the palette itself has a nice richness to it. The dirty, grimy town looks fantastic. It's very bold. And when it comes to just black levels, they're just spot on perfect. Grain structure, everything from detail enhancement, it all works here. This movie has a nice visual presentation. If you're a fan of the movie, do yourself a favor, check out Django on 4K from Arrow Video. At number 4, that will go to the Addams Family, released by Paramount Pictures. I have to admit, I was a little skeptical hearing this was getting a 4K release, considering director Barry Sonnenfeld's, let's just say, hesitancy using HDR and Dolby Vision gradings. But wow, color me impressed. This is a clear night and day difference over the Blu Ray, no doubt about it. Colors look beautifully rendered here. They just really bring out a whole new visual palette. Black levels, perfect. And the enhancement with textures and detail is a noticeable uptick. This movie has never looked better. If you're a fan of the film, absolutely check this one out, and hopefully one day we will get Addams Family values on the same format. I'm very impressed with this release, and I think you will be as well. At number 3, that will go to the sci-fi adventure The Final Countdown, released by Blue Underground. The visual palette of this film really benefits here with Dolby Vision. The oceanic setting, the blue skies, tropical locations, they're very bold and rich. Military uniforms also really have a nice appearance. Black levels are appropriately deep when they need to be, and the detail enhancement is a nice uptick in general. This movie looks fantastic. It's another great effort from Blue Underground. They clearly care about their 4K releases, and if you're a fan of the film, you should definitely add this one to your collection. At number 2, that will go to The Ten Commandments. When I think of classic Hollywood cinema, this movie definitely comes to mind. It is the definition of gorgeous when it comes to the 4K Ultra HD release. This movie has such a wonderful color palette at its disposal, and everything enhanced by Dolby Vision, such as color, black levels, and detail. It gives you a nice reason to upgrade this film. This movie, in my opinion, has never looked better. Aside from the theatrical run, you definitely are going to get your money's worth with The Ten Commandments on 4K Ultra HD. Before I get to my number 1, just a couple of quick honorable mentions. There were a few good box sets released on 4K Ultra HD, which I wanted to highlight here. First up, the Sony release of the Underworld Collection. The HDR grading really takes those icy blue tones throughout the films and really gives it a nice richness. Black levels are really perfect, and even though they're upscales, I think they're a worthy addition on 4K. And when it comes to box sets, Indiana Jones, the collection, I know was on a lot of people's wish list, and thankfully Paramount did a fantastic job with the 4K Ultra HD. These movies have never looked better. They're a very nice addition, especially if you're looking to upgrade from the Blu Ray. And finally, the Columbia Classics Collection Volume 2 from Sony. These movies once again have a beautiful visual upgrade here. Taxi Driver, Sense and Sensibility, Anatomy of a Murder, all of the movies in this set really stand out, and they're a worthwhile upgrade on 4K Ultra HD. And for my number 1 best catalog release on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray in 2021, that will go to My Fair Lady, released by Paramount Pictures. I cannot overstate with how much I was impressed with the visual presentation here on 4K Ultra HD. The Dolby Vision grading makes those colors beautifully rich. The costuming just really has such a visual beauty to it. The set pieces, everything looks fantastic. Black levels are nice and appropriate, and the enhancement to detail, it just is a fantastic upgrade. This movie, in my opinion, is why Paramount Pictures puts out some of the best catalog titles on the format, and for that reason, it is my number 1. So those are my top 10 best catalog releases on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray in 2021. If you're interested in any of these titles, I will leave an Amazon link in the comment section. If you use it, it really helps out the channel. But I want to hear from you. It's your turn. What would you put on your top 10 best list of 2021 catalog releases on 4K Ultra HD? In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.